Well, we might as well just continue this train on because our topic today, top 5 bad ideas in the 14-team playoff. Other than the fact that it's a bad idea in and of itself, it is a bad idea that contains several bad ideas.
Did we just skip the bad ideas for the 12-team playoff?
We kind of
12 might be the best, man.
Yeah,
it really
I know.
might be. It really might be the best. But
Yeah.
we won't get to see that but for 2 years, obviously.
Yeah. So, number 5. And Craig just hit on it, not seeing how 12 goes first.
Yeah,
Not seeing how 12, like, I know that ESPN's trying to figure out what units they have to sell and all those things in 2 years and blah, 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 blah. But could you not just make a 5-year contract with the 12-team playoff? Could you not do that? Now, again, this is the fault of many idiots that have gotten us to this point of where we don't have the 12-team playoff until this year. We could have had it a couple years ago, but didn't because of the alliance and all the things that went down. And then, of course, we didn't have it anyway because the powers that be didn't really care what the fans wanted in the first place. And they still seem to not.
And still don't.
They still don't. And that's the other thing is, like, you know, if I walked into the restaurant right now and I say, I'll have the schnitzel, and they're like, no, you will have a cheeseburger. You're like, well, I came for the schnitzel. And they're like, well, we're going to give you a cheeseburger. I would be like, that's not how you run a place. They wouldn't do that here. But.
College athletics actually had a commissioner spot. They'd go hire Rob Manfred. That's how much they don't care about the greater overall fan response.
Yeah, but we're not even seeing how 12 goes first.
No.
Before we get to 14, because 12 might need like little minor tweaks. You know, it might need a couple things to make it move a little smoother and then on, but we don't even know. We don't even know yet. Number 4, it's an invitational. It is not
That's
a
what
true
Dennis
playoff.
Dodd
It is an
mentioned, yeah, or
invitational.
Brett McMurphy.
So if you're gonna, this includes anybody who's in this thing. So if 11 of the teams in it are going to be in it just by the fact that they're in a conference and not because they earned it
and won a certain threshold of games.
a certain threshold of games. Yeah, but like you don't there's not, you're taking out comparison from it completely. Now, do you make it easier on the committee? Yeah, you do, because they're going to take, all right, we got to take the top 3, the top 2, the top 2, this one, and Notre Dame if they're in the top 14, and then we really only have to pick between 2 or 3 teams at the end of that. So, yeah, that's maybe a little bit easier on them, but are you getting the best 14? Not necessarily. Now, most years, you probably will, just because the best teams come out of those leagues.
It's already all tilted towards a certain, that's the thing, man, is like it's already, everything is in their favor of those two leagues.
The SEC has had probably 50%, I'm guessing, of the playoff slots since it began in 14.
Right, and they've gone out and earned that. And they've earned the TV ratings and the big fan bases and the money that comes from that. So I don't want to make this about them because I think this is the TV networks more than anything else. I think we're giving probably Greg Sankey way too much credit here, but maybe not. I think we're not giving nearly enough of the blame to the folks at Disney and NBC and so on and so forth.
And look, Disney doesn't make bad decisions.
No, not at all. They're doing great. Let's throw some more MCU movies out there that nobody cares about. Yeah, but no, it's an invitational, like you said, based on these various reports. And I circle back to what I said. This is the one sport that refuses to just have an honest-to-God, like just regular postseason. They've got the salary cap rules of Major League Baseball where you can spend whatever you want. And just so happens, though, that there's certain teams that make all the most money and that they can outspend, but now you want to give them all of these other additional benefits. It's like you don't have to do that.
Baseball has a threshold where you have to pay extra. They have a luxury tax.
Yeah, you're
not
right.
even college football.
No, you're right. There's not that in place. So the advantages are so great already, but you need to further tilt it. I just break off already. Like, my God.
Yeah. Number 3, already letting the Big Ten and SEC take control of this thing.
Oh, too late.
I mean, it's too late, but already letting them and not being on equal footing of this. And look, when they decide they're going to have a committee and keep you in the loop, that's already bad. That's already bad.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's now if it's just if Smoak and I are Big Ten and SEC and Craig is the ACC, we only have to tell Craig what we want to tell Craig. We don't have to tell him anything. No. Craig goes, hey, how'd the meeting go today? What's it going to be like for us? Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to get 2 automatic qualifiers. And then And then, okay, I like 2 automatic qualifiers. That's good. Yeah, we're all going to get 2? Yes, we'll all get 2, but we'll also get 3.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
3?
What do you mean?
They're only going to get 1.
What do you mean? What do you mean 3? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's just because we're doing this. I mean,
More
we're
like 4,
you
bro.
know, yeah.
More like 4.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
3 and extra bye.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I mean, that's the thing. You got the extra buys for probably at least one of each of those leagues. And then, you know, with the proposal last night that was being talked about, I mean, you're looking at, hey, congrats, Big 12 and ACC, whatever you look like later on. You each get 2. We get 4 based on nothing other than affiliation. And then we'll also take and split those at-larges as well. And so somebody's going to have like 6 from
We're
a
going to
league.
get 4, and one of them gets a first-round bye.
And then like
And
1 or
we
2 of
still
the
can get an
at-larges.
at-large berth.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so there's going to be like a 6-team. There's going to be 6 teams from a league. And I know somebody argue, well, Ole Miss could have, but I come on, man. Like that's an abundance of teams that
You know
I don't
what?
think is necessary at
Back
all.
in the
But
day,
whatever.
the NFC East used to win every Super Bowl.
yeah.
They really, in the NFC, but they
The
still
NFC
had to
East.
play. They still had to play the format, and not every team in the NFC East, even though all of them were good, were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There was a number. There's a threshold. You can't do it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Number 2, rushing into a TV deal. Look, they're rushing into this, right? I mean, like, having a 30-day, like, you know, I understand the TV networks needs to do it, but even they have to feel like this is a bit of a rush. And look, they could have solved all this months ago, honestly, months ago, and then we wouldn't be in this. But because, I mean, everybody has differing interests in this, and it's become a very political protest. Like, it's like getting the budget passed now. We are where we are, but like ESPN's like, look, we got to know in 30 days. And your retiring commissioner of the CFP, by the way, has to be in charge of this, which I don't like either. But rushing into this TV deal it's what's made all this stuff happen. And then you see these things like, we're going to make sure the SEC and Big Ten get in, a bye. And
Well, this fresh off the reports about like how they weren't getting the type of bidding they want. So I think the next thing we'll hear is, well, we have to do it this way to get more offers on the earlier round games. So they don't want Tulane against Texas Tech in the first round. They want some team from the SEC versus one of those 2 teams. I think that's what we're going to ultimately. It's like it's always like, well, they're just doing it for the greater good because they have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we'll hear next. Is, well, the bidding was low, but now that we've determined that you're going to be guaranteed to have bigger brands in the first rounds, now here comes Fox. Now here comes whoever. I wonder if we hear that at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 1, and I put this in all caps, although Emery will have it in all caps anyway, automatic qualifiers. Smokey hit the point on the nail on the head from the beginning of the show today. If you are so good, why do you need automatic qualifiers? If you're better than everybody else, that will just work out. Bottom line. That's how it is. It should be about the best teams, whether it's 12, 14, or 16. And the conference champions should be part of that. And then everything else should be the best teams, regardless of league. But that's not what they're doing. And they're giving us automatic qualifiers, which almost defeats the purpose of this in the first place.
Well, it just makes it more subjective again, which is this is the most subjective sport in all of American sports, I guess, outside of like what, gymnastics, boxing, when it's like you have just you have judges. I mean, but outside of that, it's
figure skating.
It's outside of judges sports, this is the only one that I can think of that is so subjective in determining who's good or not. And that's I think a problem, but it's not a problem they are attempting to resolve. They're just trying to muck it up even more in that regard. And I don't know why, outside of just the greed of TV networks and maybe even some commissioners as well. That's the answer ultimately. But it's hard. It's not hard to understand or to believe. It's just kind of hard to swallow. Like, damn, man, can we just do something that's just, I don't know, for the greater good and not just about like how much we can squeeze out of this. But you know what? I'm stupid because that's absolutely what it all is.
Look,
so.
and even some of the biggest, most obtuse corporations listen to people. Like even McDonald's put the Egg McMuffin on the menu all day. Like the
McRib has come back multiple times.
All that. But college football, like you could beg for the Egg McMuffin all day you want, and then they're like, no.
Yeah.
No, we don't care how many Egg McMuffins will sell at 2:30 p.m. We do not believe in the Egg McMuffin and your right to have one at whatever time of day you want.
All right, Paul. That it?
Yep.
Great stuff. Had fun.